Hi, I am Clements, and this is a bouquet of origami flowers that I made my wife for her birthday, and I want to show you how to make them. Now, this is the first one I made, and I made it back in March as one of my page-a-day origami models. You can check out my previous video to see more about my everyday origami project, but as soon as I finished this model, I knew how cool it would be to make an entire bouquet, and it was actually fairly easy. It's a fairly easy model to do with a pretty impressive result. Now, first things first, before we actually start making the flower, let's go ahead and make the stem, which is just a bamboo skewer painted green. So if we paint that green now, by the time we're done folding, it should probably be just about dry. I'm just using some green acrylic paint. There we go, there's our stem. Super easy. Now onto folding the flower. You can use pretty much any colored paper that you want. Thinner, proper origami paper is going to be better, but as long as it has a white side and a colored side, it should work out just fine. I printed some custom pink flower texture. It's got the veins of a flower petal, and it actually worked out quite well for these. So we're just going to grab one. So our first step is to flip our paper over, and we're just going to fold it in half diagonally. And then unfold it and fold it in half diagonally in the other direction. Unfold it again. Now we're going to fold it in half horizontally. Unfold it and fold it in half horizontally in the other direction. And unfold it one more time. Now, positioning it like a diamond, we're basically going to take this triangle and put it here. So essentially, we're just folding it in half again. But now we're going to take this triangle and put it on top of the other one, just like that. And then doing the same thing on the other side. Now this is what is known as the diamond base. Again, as you can see, all we've really done is just kind of taken these two corners, put them together, and then squished it all down. And now we're going to reorient the model so that our opening is at the top. And with these four flaps, we're going to fold them up towards the center. So again, we're taking this flap and folding it up towards the center, flipping it over, flap 3, and flap 4. Okay, we have this kind of kite looking shape. Now again, with these flaps, we're going to take the top part of the flap and fold that down towards the center, just like that, towards the center, flipping it over, top part of the flap towards the center, and so now we are here. And one more time, we're going to take the flap that we just made, and now we're going to fold the bottom of that flap towards the outside edge. So right along here. We're going to do that for all four flaps. So just up towards the outside edge, flipping it over, up towards the outside edge, and up towards the outside edge. All right, so now we have this diamond shape looking thing. And now this next step, a stylus like this is going to be really helpful. You can also just use like the bamboo skewer, just something thin with a bit of a point. You can do this with your finger, but this is really going to make this a lot easier. So what we're going to do is take this flap that we just made, we're actually going to unfold it and put it up straight. And then with our little tool here, we're going to open up that fold and push it down flat. So again, we're making this upright, unfolding that, and you can get in there with your finger, of course, but just having this just makes it a lot easier. All we're doing is opening that up and pushing it flat. So again, we're kind of taking this little flap that we made, we're just straightening this whole flap out, opening that up, pushing it flat, unfolding that, opening it up, and pushing it flat. Now for this next step, I'm going to go ahead and glue it. You don't have to glue it. It will work okay without gluing it, but I prefer to glue it. That way I just know it's going to stay the way I want it to, and plus you can handle it a little bit more carelessly and it's not going to fall apart. Now to make gluing it a little bit easier, we're going to take these flaps that we just made and just fold them over, just like that. So we're not unfolding this part here, but we're just folding this over on top of itself. We'll do that on the other side as well. Just so they're out of the way so that we can get to these two flaps. Uncap my glue stick and opening up these two flaps to put a little bit of glue just to push those down. And now I'm going to run some glue along these edge flaps and just push those down. Flipping it over, again opening this up, just putting a bit of glue to hold those two down, gluing those two edge flaps, just pushing those down. All right, now we pretty much have to do the same thing with these flaps. We're actually going to fold this part over, flip it over, fold this part over, and now we want to fold these flaps back this way. So it's going to look pretty much the same as our other ones. Fold those over up towards the center. And again, I want to glue these, so just unfold those real quick. Apply some glue to those flaps there, and then fold them back and glue them down. Flipping it over, opening it up, a little bit of glue, folding that over, and giving that all a good press down. You can fold it back out the other way if you like. Now give that a few moments to dry, and we can move on to curling the petals. Now to do this, I'm just going to put the petal on top of my pointer finger, take my stylus, and then pinch that with my thumb, and just roll it on down, just like that, just rolling it on down. And that'll give that petal a really nice curl. We just do that for all four. Pointer finger, pinch, and roll. Now doing this while the glue is still a bit wet really helps this paper take the curl like this, and also as it dries, it's really going to help keep that curl as the glue hardens in that shape. And there we go. Now the last thing left to do, just stick our finger in there and pop it on out. And there is our flower. How nice looking is that? Isn't that so cool? Now, to put it on our stem, all we need to do is cut a very tiny hole in the bottom. The smaller the better. And if you get it small enough, we're just going to poke our skewer right on in there. And there should be enough friction to hold that on there without any glue. Of course, if you need glue, go ahead and use it, but there we go. There is our origami flower. Again, I think it's a really pretty simple model, maybe like a 3 or a 4 out of 10, but the end result is really impressive. A lot of these models where they can kind of inflate like that really give an impressive look, I think. And yeah, you get in the flow of it, you can make a dozen in an hour or so. Spray some perfume in there to actually make it smell. I think it's really cool, really pretty. And then yeah, any color you can imagine, any print you want to come up with. We're going to do another one real quick without gluing it, just to kind of show you what happens when it's not glued. And there you go. So this one was done with no glue, and it's actually holding together pretty well. On my original one, which which also had no glue, you can kind of see where it's just kind of falling apart. And it doesn't look nearly as good. So, and again, totally up to you if you want to be a purist and not use glue. I still like glue, that way just know it's always going to hold that shape, and this stuff's never going to come unfolded, and it's not going to start disassembling itself. But there you have it, a pretty cool origami flower. My sincere thank you for watching. Once again, I am Nick Clements, if you're wondering. Thank you short for Nicholas, and the D stands for dozen. Anyway, I'm off to make something else. They're actually self-defense flowers. See, it's like, hey, you wanna smell my flower? Ha! Stabbed you in the nose.